Now let's cover this one. Twitter user Cats and Crows called out Jimmy Havoc for abuse during their relationship. She said, "This story isn't in any order. A lot of my memory of this abuse is disordered because I was battling drink and substance abuse to cope. That does not make it invalid. I'm speaking out because I don't want anyone else to be hurt and I don't think I'm alone." She starts by saying, "I'm scared to write this because I know people will defend him through anything because he's always been lovely to me. But my tears as I write this don't lie. I had a year and a half of therapy to finally break free of my own brain defending him time and time again. I dated Jimmy Havoc for almost 3 years. Why didn't I leave him sooner? So many reasons. He would routinely try and self-harm in front of me when we fought, which was often. I had to fight scissors and blades out of his hands on more than one occasion. I tried to call an ambulance for him and he would snatch my phone out of my hands. Every other week I would receive a fresh threat of suicide. He would sit next to me and refuse to speak to me and refuse to even look at me for hours as I cried and screamed and I begged him. I defended him to all my friends. He had a rough childhood. He only knows anger and violence in love. But even after hundreds of turning points and screaming in my face never stopped. He would so afraid when we were in the car. He so afraid in the car he would drive incredibly dangerously when angry, knowing I had PTSD from a previous accident. He would throw his suitcase around in the street after shows, kicking it and screaming when I didn't want to follow his plans. He would punch walls and himself in the face repeatedly in front of me as I cried. More than once he told me I was a horrible person that didn't love him and I was hurting him on purpose and that I made him want to die. He told me that he would take part in a tournament of death and kill himself there. If I tried to go in and save him, he'd tell the door not to let me in. At WrestleMania Orlando, he was very stressed. He was verbal punching. I was his verbal punching bag every day when he was drunk. When he was sober, he couldn't remember the abuse, so I never got an apology or closure. I ran away from him at actual WrestleMania because I couldn't stand to be next to him anymore. I missed most of the show. He convinced me I was overreacting. The first time I left him was after SmackDown at the O2. He was drunk and verbally abusive. I told him that he'd also upset my friend and he stormed over to her, grabbed her arm and got in her face to apologise. She was afraid. I still went back. It was only after we sat in a car silent outside a restaurant because he refused to speak and look at me because I'd been out with my friends the night before. He hated my friends. I now see why they saw through him. He took me for dinner after every fight. He saw the harm he was doing to me. He will claim to not remember any of this. Wow. That is a lot of stuff to process there. One more account from Lady of the Lake on Twitter issued a statement in response to the story that we just read. So I've been waiting for the day Jimmy Havoc to be brought up. That shit's true. He's gross. He DM'd me around Christmas time this past year. Was over in the UK drunk and alone and I guess decided to try shit with me. The message was fine at first, polite. He made me think he was really interested in wanting to get to know me. Said he was going to try and get booked on a local show so we could hang out until he asked for a photo. I'm not one to send nude pictures to strangers. I don't care if you have a following or think you're famous. So I just sent a selfie. He said I was wearing too much. I said I wasn't about to send revealing pics. We'd just been getting to know each other. He kept trying for a bit until he realised I wasn't budging, then dropped me because I wouldn't give him what he wanted. I realised that this isn't a case of assault or abuse like others coming forward. I just wanted to share my experience. He tried to use his status to get stuff off female fans. That is not okay. Wow, that was an intense Jimmy Havoc story. I just have one little thing I just want to bring up as a story that I don't think is anywhere near in the same category as every other story that we've been covering recently. Gingerfish19 on Twitter said, "My ex just gave me permission to name wrestlers and managers that tried shit with her when she would attend ICW shows. Tyler Bate tried to get her back to his hotel room, and James R. Kennedy through Snapchat would beg her to meet up with him. Now, judging by this, there is no evidence, no pictures, no messages, no anything. Just this statement on Twitter from Gingerfish19. He has actually put out a statement after this saying, "I'm getting a lot of heat for this. I'm only telling you what my ex-girlfriend told me, what she experienced, and that made her feel very uncomfortable. But I guess as long as he didn't rape her, it's all cool. Go ahead. Go and eat Tyler's ass." That is his statement to everyone else. And somebody else has said, if he continued to harass her, and even after she said no to him, yes, fuck Tyler Bate. But all people are saying how it was phrased does not indicate that there was harassment or inappropriate behaviour. So, yeah, we don't know any screenshots or anything, so we can't really tell how the conversations went between Tyler Bate and this mystery girl named by Gingerfish19. But from the sounding of this, from the Tyler Bate story at least, sounds like he just asked her and she said no. End of it. But James R. Kennedy could probably go with harassment with the word used, begged. But anyway, this is another story covered. I will keep up with this. I can't keep up with this. There's like stories coming out every bloody hour. It's freaking insane. Absolutely mental. But yeah, I'll keep you up to date if any more big stars' name comes out regarding this situation. Thank you all for watching, and I shall catch you later.